Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Celebrity Natal Charts. Today, we are going to be looking at the natal chart of Walt Disney, born Chicago, Illinois, United States, December 5th, 1901 at 12:35 a.m. Birth time accuracy excellent, and he has the rising Virgo. Uh, Walter Elias Walt Disney, born December 5th, 1901, December 15th, 1966. Oh no, born 1901, December 5th, and passed December 15th, 1966, was an American business magnate, animator, cartoonist, producer, director, screenwriter, philanthropist, and voice actor. A major figure within the American animation industry and throughout the world, he is regarded as an international icon. Well known for his influence and contributions to the field of entertainment during the 20th century, as a Hollywood business mogul, he, along with his brother Roy Disney, inaugurated the Magic Kingdom on October 1st, 1971. So to go out without saying, you don't know about Leon Schlesinger, you don't know about all the other people that had competitive cartoons, but we all know Walt Disney. And on this channel, we love to talk about Princess and the Frog and Spider-Man and Disney and racism and Bosco and in black cartoons and how Bosco and Honey, it was like we don't want to make a white kid cartoon. Like white people aren't magical, black people are magical. Like everything they say is a song and everything that they do is a dance. I think it's really I'm doing this on February 1st. Or actually lying. I'm lying so much. Like it is not February 1st, it's March 1st. So I'm doing this after Black History Month, but it's March 1st. Hey, and then February 28th, it's probably technically actually still February 29th and 30th. Like screw the calendar. Calendar wrong. Anyway, so his birth number does not align with his rising sign, as a lot of the other people did. He has a birth number that is relative to Leo, and he is very famous. 1901. Let's check it out. Let's see what and like I said, class, if you know the lunar zodiac better than me, feel free to shout out the answer while I search for it. I could look it up beforehand, like I did with a couple other videos, but that's not honest. I don't know. He was born 1901. I don't even think they have that on my calendar. I think my calendar starts like 1939. So you might not be able to look at that right now. We'll look at it later, one day. Maybe it's not important. But like I said, Sagittarius, I'm always like Jimi Hendrix and uh, Jim Morrison and Bette Midler and Walt Elias Disney. So he's a great guy. We all know who he is. He has a rising Virgo. So he gets a lot of his self esteem from his connection to being conservative and being kid friendly, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I guess there has been like Looney Tune shorts and videos where they make it inappropriate, or I guess Looney Tunes is a little bit more crass and a little bit more like Family Guy, whereas Disney has always been more wholesome. And I just did the Miley Cyrus chart where I lied in the thing and said that I was recording it on February 1st, and it's actually March 1st. Um, but I was just too excited, and so yeah, like the Disney Channel, even 100 years past is passing, is always kind of known as like the more like conservative, kid friendly, less like inappropriate channel. He has the second house in Libra, so that probably talks about him being a voice actor. He also has the moon in Libra. So moon in Libra, their emotion or like their go-to emotion is like I need a friend. I need a pal. So if he gets sad, if he's happy, if he's angry, he's like I need someone to celebrate this joy and this anger and this happiness with. Um, and the moon in Libra, second house, it's like he's always looking for new relationships, and new buddies and new friends and new, like I said, new relationships. So, they make a Donald Duck movie, it's successful. he goes and drinks some champagne, and he goes find somebody to hug real hard to celebrate that joy. And anybody with a rising Virgo, it's like you're like I think with like J.R.R. Tolkien, it's like finding marriage, finding a relationship is like their biggest priority. I don't really know his life story, so maybe he married really rich or married very well, and that helped him draw his little cartoons, his little insignificant cartoons that nobody knows about, that are not like the biggest cartoons in the world. And his third house in Scorpio, so it says he grew up in Chicago, third house in Scorpio. So maybe there's a lot of gang violence and people seeking vengeance, a lot of like, what do you call it, like troubles with racial discrimination. Scorpio is the sign of polarity, and it is the sign of like contrast, like how the shadows in the fall time are deeper and darker because of the light being shown off of the sun. So Scorpio does talk about the duality of race and the duality of sex. It is also his north node. So I think initially with Disney is that he wanted to exploit or to share and aggrandize like the songs of the South and the Fox and the Hound and the fairy tales that he heard growing up in America. Whereas people are like, that's racist, that's cultural appropriation. Racism and cultural appropriation has been a big theme in literature since the 1800s, since the 1930s, where it's only now coming back in television and media because they were like, oh, well, if I can't write culturally appropriative books and cartoons, I'll just make culturally appropriative sitcoms and movies. And now they're talking about that again. It's not a new term. It's been in the zeitgeist for a very long time. And then he has the fourth house in Sagittarius, where he also has his sun. Let's go over this again real quick. His third house in Scorpio. He also has Mercury in Scorpio. So he might talk about like vengeance and like wanting to get back at people. And I think anybody who's like really trying to celebrate African Americans, it's not necessarily vengeance. It's like just desserts or, it's like you don't want your neighbor to not have food or to not have power because they're going to come after your food and your power. So it's like, make sure they have food, make sure they have power, so don't try to take mine, you know? But then back into his fourth house, where he has Sagittarius and his sun and the planet of Uranus. So he himself has knocked down a lot of boundaries for himself, probably knocked down a lot of boundaries for a lot of voice actors and animators and people of color and people not of color. And everybody says he's like racist and hates Jewish people or whatever it is. I'm not feeling that. It could be true. He's an old guy from 1901. He probably thinks like, probably a lot of xenophobic feelings that he has going through World War One and Two. And it's like not to say that that forgives or makes up for anything, but it's understandable, at least I think. And he has the fifth house in Capricorn. So this is the caveat in his life. This is the obstacle. This is, his ego. And he has a lot of planets in Capricorn. He has a Capricorn stellium. He has Mars in Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, and Chiron in Capricorn, which Saturn is Capricorn's ruling planet, so that should be kind of an easy thing to go with. But the Chiron makes it very difficult. So maybe he needed his brother or needed a lot of people to help him be successful in business. Maybe he couldn't stand to do paperwork, but he's very lucky. So it's like a lot of obstacles, a lot of hurdles, a lot of people throwing mud at him. But he was lucky through it all. A lot of the limitations that he experienced in his life through sexuality and promiscuity was also to protect him from maybe like having somebody getting to know him too good to stop him from accomplishing what he knew that he was supposed to accomplish, because Capricorn is also the sign of reputation and destiny. And with Chiron there, it's like, it makes me feel like, he is good at seeking relationships with his second house in Libra to help him overcome the healings that he needed to be successful in business. And he might want to help other people be successful in business, but he can't find them the friends that they need. And that's the type of healing that he can offer to the world that he cannot heal within himself, like being able to, find somebody with a Bucky the Beaver cartoon and take that to the top as he did with Mickey Mouse. And how he's supposed to heal from his fifth house is his his sixth house in Aquarius, where it's like he gets by with a little help from his friends. So if he's feeling sick, he might just need to talk to an Aquarius friend to give him a charge of electricity to heal him. Um, you know, yeah, like he might have, not really practiced a lot of self-care, and like he's like, if I didn't have friends, I wouldn't even brush my hair. He has the seventh house in Pisces, saying to me that a good relationship for him would be somebody with a sun, moon, or rising in Pisces. He's also very attractive to a lot of Pisces. So being a Virgo or a rising Virgo, Sagittarius, he probably would want to attract a lot of like fish or animators to work for him or work with him. And I think he exploited a lot of people. I don't know, life. He has this eighth house in Aries. So I guess like organized religion made him very angry. Sex, death, taxes, which I don't think a lot of the Disney cartoons were probably about sex, death, and taxes. You never know. They used the number 13 a lot. So when I was talking about Ben Stiller and how in Astro Charts they were like, he had a series of 13 episodes. I was like, all right, Astro Charts. But I know if you watch a lot of older Disney cartoons, like you look at people's addresses and things like that, so he does know about like occultism and numerology and astrology. And maybe he's angry about the December 5th birthday. Maybe he's angry about having the rising Virgo. And maybe he wishes he was more creative like the Pisces or rising Pisces. He has a ninth house in Taurus. So, maybe there's a lot of pen pals he had that lived on farms, or maybe a lot of people would write him fan mail into the, you have to send out into the country. Maybe he learned a lot. Learned a lot, got a lot of education on a farm. I just think about Fox and the Hound and like how he wanted to tell the tales that he was told growing up in America, like very like folksy, very Miley Cyrus, whatever. But like he's from Chicago, Illinois, so he is like a city rat or city mouse, but maybe he has an affinity or a love for the country mouse, right? He has the 10th house in Gemini, so it's his destiny to be a speaker, a voice actor, an author, and all those things, and a great communicator. He also has Pluto in Gemini, and what else are the planets he got in Gemini? I think that's it. Oh, his midheaven is in Gemini. He knew that as his destiny. Pluto and Gemini, yeah, it's him like sending the number 13 to everybody in his cartoons, like secretly wishing death on them because of probably what he saw in the war. And I guess he lost a lot of friends, and, he lived from 1901 to like 1966. So, after a while, like that gets to you, and death seems to be like a very prevalent energy that was happening in his life. And maybe it was really hard for him not to make all the cartoons, like, maybe Donald Duck and Minnie Mouse and all those people were based off of people that he knew, or he assigned certain connections to those people. And maybe after a while, it kind of made him miserable because of like, cartoons and photographs and people passing. And let's get out of that house. So he's 11th house in Cancer, which means that his mother maybe have felt like very distant to him. Maybe a lot of estrangement with connections to women and nurturing other people. Maybe he's like very careless with people's emotions. And giving him the 12th house in Leo. So maybe throughout his life he never felt the amount of fame that he actually had. Maybe he never felt famous. Maybe his fame was like a secret to him. And it sort of is, because like the Disney Channel and Miley Cyrus and all these great, all these great things that came, Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera and Ryan Gosling, these wouldn't come around until like years and years after that he died. So even to him, his fame is a secret. And, if you talk to his spirit, his ghost, like, I'm famous. So that's Walt Disney. It's kind of sad doing the charts of people that have passed, but I think that it actually gives a little bit more information because you can see their whole life and reflect. I mean, the story of their life and reflection, what they're willing to share. Um, so, if you have a kid who is a Sagittarius rising Virgo, if you have a best friend who is a Sagittarius rising Virgo and you want to send them something encouraging, you can send this video and be like, hey, you might be singing and dancing today or just drawing little doodles, but you could end up like Walt Disney. You're born December 5th, like there's a lot of auspicious and lucky energy around your birthday. And thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and sharing this video, like I said, with your favorite Sagittarius rising Virgo. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!